Well, what I see is hay under the screen thing. So I can't pick hay. It's a mess. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good coffee, good everything. Um, so who all is here? I bet Leslie Williams is here.
Yeah, so we've got Elle O'Brien says good morning.
Good morning.
Well, she beat Leslie. Leslie Williams says hi.
Oh,
That's a first.
crazy.
Leah Pencherry says hello. Hi, Leah.
Good morning.
Elle O'Brien says afternoon there.
Where is Elle?
Yeah, where are you? Pixie Murphy says hi there.
Good
Michael
morning.
Hofferberg says good morning. Maury
Good morning.
Manning says hi, everyone. In Florida, she says Maury here from Florida. Tanya Hoffe says good morning. Good afternoon to Tanya. Shannon Meyer says hi, all. Hi, Shannon. Danielle Nanashra says hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Nolene Gratian says good morning. Elle O'Brien is in Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh, I have several Ohioans that moved up from South Florida. Got lots of horse properties there.
I remember I told you on our way back to California, we stopped at a vegan restaurant, this little town in Kentucky. I think I remember the name of the restaurant. It's so good. In Kentucky, this little town that was a vegan restaurant. It was pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Kentucky.
Kentucky's beautiful. Okay.
Oh, this is strong coffee. Wow. Yep. Anyway. So, if you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, energy healer. Can you not hear me? Somebody said something about the sound.
I'm checking the sound. I'm going to mute myself. Hold on.
Okay. Am I supposed to talk? Okay, maybe. Now I'm pressing.
It's muffled. It's really muffled.
You know what? How's that? Is that better?
Let me see.
There might be hay in the speaker. This fell in the hay today.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely clogged with hay.
Really?
Can't do anything.
Oh my god. I need a new phone.
Tanya says it sounds like a snowplow.
So we're just talking to each other.
We're just talking to each other.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Leah Pencherry says horse people problems. Okay, hold on, let me mute.
It's true. Horse people problems. Now you won't be able to hear Claudia, though. Unless I move you up so close that you're up my nostril. And then they can hear you.
They can hear me. I could hear me. Once you plugged in, I was able to hear me. Okay, great now. Yes,
Okay.
This is better.
All right. I hate this, but
I know.
this is love of you guys. Anyway, so if you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And the program, we have programs for learning animal communication or becoming an animal communicator, energy healing, becoming an energy healer, and nature and wildlife. We go on wildlife trips. We have one spot left for India, and we have lots and lots and lots of fun upcoming things. Actually, for those that did not see the All Things Energy webinar, we're sending out the replay. So if you're interested, how do they get that, Claudia? Um, okay. Do you really think it's hay up in the thing?
Yeah, for sure. Because I couldn't hear you at all, and now we can hear you.
Yeah, there's hay all over the screen too.
Yeah.
Okay. I might need a new phone.
No, what we'll do is we'll take the case off, clean it out, and it'll be fine. But you're going to have to wait for me to get there.
Oh my God. Yeah, Claudia snowed in.
I sent you a picture of what it looks like. It's out my window right now.
I didn't see it. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not pretty.
No, it's slushy, crunchy, slippery, and wet and cold.
Yeah, so Claudia's not here today. She's in the iPad. She's in the iPad. She's this big. Anyway, we have lots of things coming up. So we're going to, the All Things Energy webinar was yesterday, and we're doing the replay. We also have All Things Energy Ask Joan on Thursday at 1 o'clock my time. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Tomorrow, we start the Animals in Transition fundamentals, and that's going to be very fun. We have, I know it will be fun. We have the, and then we have the intensive coming up. We have,
the intensive is April 14th through the 22nd. I'm going to put all the links in here.
Okay.
I don't know if they can hear me. Yeah.
Can you hear Claudia?
They said they could. Yeah. Yes, they can hear both of us. Bernadette says she can hear both of us. Hello, Bernadette.
Okay, if I take my glasses off, I'm really dependent on you.
Yeah. Leslie Williams says she can hear us both now.
Okay.
So let me just say, Chris Wilson says good morning.
Good morning.
Mark Bernard says Holly and I say hello from New York City. They're
Hello.
finally getting some snow.
Yeah, I heard.
Val Smith says good afternoon. Jessica Dick Neverett says hello.
Hello, Jessica. And Val is back east.
Yes, they say they can hear me.
Okay, cool.
So I will be putting in the links to everything as we go.
See, we need you here because I can't even.
No, you're good.
Well, I don't know. It's wonky. Anyway, so it's going to be really hard to do what I was going to do today with a headset on. But we'll do it. Anyway, we wanted to talk the theme this week has been all things energy. I thought I would talk about energetic body work. And also the other theme is, of course, animals in transition, because we have the whole fundamentals coming up. But it's interesting because both of these things that I'm going to talk about are helpful in the end of life stages. Which reminds me, we have the live in-person acupressure class. That's what I forgot to say. Not this weekend, but next weekend.
March 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah.
With Dr. Jill Todd.
And me.
At your ranch.
Yes, my ranchette. It's a little ranch. It's a ranchette.
It's 3 acres.
It's 3 acres. That's teeny. I think of a ranch as being hundreds of thousands of acres. I guess because I've been to Texas.
Well, yeah.
Okay, anybody else? I'm seeing comments, but I can't see a thing.
Tanya says, they're just saying that they can hear me. Susie Morrow Reed says, I'm finishing up a massage and listening.
Oh, fun. Okay. So, are you working on a horse, Susie? Because this will be fun. I was going to talk about...
Ooh, it'll be perfect.
Yeah, she can do acupressure. So I was going to talk about acupressure and EFT today because I feel like both of them are what I refer to as energetic body works. When I think of what, I always say that if you didn't have a good therapist, as an animal, they don't have a good therapist, right? Unless they have a good animal communicator, which that's why we're here. But most people don't feel like they can do that. But there's one thing that, the body stores all the energy, the memories, the everything. So to start working on an animal with an energetic body work, you're getting kind of you're doubling your efforts, if you will. You're getting an opportunity to release and heal at the same time. I mean, I think massage is healing and releasing at the same time also, but there's something even more specific once you get to acupressure and EFT. And EFT is based on the acupressure points, and acupressure points are specific points to either tonify, release, give energy to, and a bunch of other words involved. There's a bunch of other things it does. On specific points that are connected to meridians, that are connected to organ systems, that are connected to emotions. So even our simple points for tapping are, they're all very specific points. And in my new book, you'll see a bunch of charts. But I also am teaching this Animals in Transition Fundamentals, and we are definitely going to go over kind of end-of-life care, things like that, because the transition isn't always the actual death, but moving into, that next phase of life. And I have a series of points that we're going to be doing that I I have photos. We're going to be doing these points in the acupressure class with Dr. Jill Todd. Our handouts, we have each of our favorite 5 or 6 points. And hers are awesome. I mean, I use hers all the time and have been using. Do you remember that first class, that intro class? Oh, are you going to be full of acupressure after all of this? Some of those first points we did, governing vessel 14, this point right here.
Yes.
I use that every day on everyone. So a lot of Jill's favorite points have now been absorbed into my world. My favorite points had more to do with older animals or animals after a surgery or things like that, mobility. And so that's why I thought it would be fun to talk about today, just because we'll be going into that in both the Animals in Transition and the acupressure. I've got pictures of Olivia, of me working on Olivia, that will end up in the handouts.
Well, speaking of the Animals in Transition, that actually starts tomorrow, and there are no prerequisites for that. It starts tomorrow through May 24th. It's 10 classes, and we're going to cover everything from EFT to acupressure to animal communication to all of that, right?
Yeah. And that actually will be taught by me, Claudia, and Shannon.
And Melissa just commented, with having so much loss in my life and being present with all at Crossing, I'm feeling drawn to the midwife to medium. Melissa, the class starts tomorrow and there are no prerequisites. We're going to cover all of it. So I put the link in right there. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Janin. Hi, Joan and Shannon.
Call Jan. Don't. And I'm Shannon. I can feel Shannon laughing on the other end too. If I lose it with Shannon or Claudia, I'm done. I am done. Shannon and I, don't look at me. Shannon and I know. Shannon and I were in a meeting in Zoom, and we had to duck out just because if I saw her, I was going to start again. And this isn't my business coach, and she was like, ladies, and I am
I've seen the two of you do that. I've seen Shannon turn beet red and disappear off camera, and you are just trying to hold it. And then I start laughing watching the two of you, so no, it's not good.
It's not good.
Shannon just commented, I'm so excited for this Animals in Transition class. Call me AKA Janet or email me at info@joe.
I'm gonna drool. Okay.
Even when we're talking about transition and death and dying, this stuff happens.
Yeah, so, no, this stuff especially happens around. Oh, see, I can't. All right.
Okay.
There we go. No, that didn't. All right. I can't move. I can't do anything. Anyway. That's the thing, is you just get so raw, right? That things become so funny.
When I described my first death and dying experience, which was at the fall intensive, when I described it to people who weren't there, I'd say, well, imagine you're sobbing snot bubbles coming out of your nose, and then you almost pee yourself laughing.
It's true.
That's the gamut.
Yeah. So anyway, and I can't stop thinking about the fact that, so at one point my dad in his transitionary years, there's a word. Anyway, in his late years, he accidentally once called me Jane, and it became the joke that he would call me Jane all the time so that people would feel sorry for him because he had Alzheimer's. He didn't.
He didn't have.
He's such a weirdo. He's like, Jane, whoever you are. Dad, it's Joan. Anyway, so I became Jane at the end there, just like Shannon is now Jan. So we've got Jane and Jan, or Joan and Shannon.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Anyway, back to business. How am I going to do this with a headset? Okay. What I want to do is kind of, when you think of a body, so going back to energetic body work, there are another energetic body work would be cranial sacral. That definitely what Claudia's disappeared, which means there's something funny, and her shoulders are going like this.
Shannon, stop. And Shannon put, and John.
And John. Jan and Jane and John. And my dad's name was John too, so there you go. We have a John. Okay, so anyway, going back to energetic body work, it's really hard, but I'm going to make it there. Okay. Energetic body work is really important because it it can release so much. I actually had this guy, James, another J. He was an old friend of mine, and he, Shannon, you met James, I think. Anyway, he was a cranial sacral worker. I knew him here in LA, and then when I moved to Florida, he was from Palm Beach, so he lived very close to me, and would come out and work on my horses. And I actually watched him unwind Gabrielle in such a way that I've never, her tail, like he was working at her head and her tail went around and around really fast. Like he literally unwound something in her. She still never wanted to be ridden, but he unwound something. And so, and I've taken a bunch of cranial sacral classes. I haven't taken any lately, and I'd love to host that here, probably next year. But it's always very fascinating to see what happens. So when you think of the range of motion of somebody that's in the moving on four legs, when you start to lose the hind end, what happens? The front end takes the brunt. So even though you want to work on the hind end and give it circulation and energy, sometimes working on the front end is your best bet because it's soldiering and shouldering everything. And Susie, you've taken, did Susie ever respond that is she still working on the horse?
I'm looking.
Because she's taken a lot of Chinese medicine. I imagine she's got some favorite points.
She hasn't commented yet.
Okay, well, one thing that I always love is, I was going to do it on a dog and a cat, but I'm stuck here now. And if I go, Buster Keaton, he's not going to come running over. Penelope, hey, come here. Good girl. I know. So I have a favorite point. Now, if you have a dog at home, and this is a great way to see if anything is going on, like, this is almost something that, helps you palpate to see if anything's going on. Thankfully, she's pretty wide open. But if you see the occiput right here, and you come down under to where it meets the spine, the axis and the axle, right under there, there's an indent. And I'm not putting any pressure in there. I'm literally, my fingers are just resting in that indent.
There she goes.
Mm-hmm.
Night, night.
Mm-hmm. And usually we start with a bladder sweep, so we'll just do a little mini one. Oh, yeah. Huh. Was that good? Uh-huh. She's talking. Mm. Mm. Mm.
There's releasing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's a talker. Anyway, I would love to see if people have an animal by their side, and you can really then.
There's a question.
Okay, and we'll have Jill here next week.
I know.
We'll do a whole.
Melissa Obit, she wants to know, is it in the center, and is that your thumb you're using?
So no, it's not in the center, and let's see if I can. Oh my God, I don't have this on. I'm going to take it out and just show you. Okay, so it's, oops, rotate phone. What's it doing?
It just flipped.
Okay.
You're upside down. There you go.
So it's right. I usually put,
There you go.
my thumb on one side and my finger on the other. So it's like that. Oh, Buster Keaton is coming over.
There you go, right there.
Buster Keaton, do you want to come and demonstrate? Come
Did
here.
that help, Melissa? He's sprawled out on the floor. And Melissa says, got it, thanks.
Oh my God.
Of all the days you chose to do hands-on demonstration.
I'm stuck without you, and I don't know how to do this.
Okay.
Oh, now she's posing perfectly for me to demonstrate. Right there.
Of course she is.
Right there. So there's the spine, and we're on either side. And there's an indent on dogs, cats, horses.
And she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa Ovid says, I tend to massage my dog there every morning. I think we all do kind of instinctively, right?
Yeah.
Just go there.
I'm trying to see. Did Buster Keaton go by me? Anyway. Abby. Abby. You're not dreaming. I'm calling you.
Hello, Brian says you answered my cat question.
Okay, come here. Up. Come on, up. Good girl. So here's another version, and she's a little tighter on the right side. There, and she starts to lick. So sometimes, and now it's a little, and I like to think, that when I'm holding it, and I mean holding it is like no pressure, like that, like I'm touching. And then I'm feeling, right? I'm getting information into my fingers. I like to think that, and see, Abby just took a huge breath, that what I'm doing when one side is tighter than the other is setting it up to feel the same balance. And so I don't, if the right side is, tighter, stiffer, different, I don't push more. I just literally settle. I settle into it, if that makes sense.
I'm doing it right now on me. And yeah. Like,
do it here. Do it on your bladder 10.
So you don't put any pressure, but it's more of you're receiving information.
And you're also giving.
Giving. It's like a feedback.
It's a total feedback.
Like, yeah, biofeedback. Okay.
Any other questions?
So, no,
No?
not yet. We got to give them a minute.
Okay.
Oh, just tried it on, Leslie Williams says, just tried it on Willow and she's yawning. Oh, it's
Oh, cool.
I've had clients where I'm doing an animal communication session, and on the medical intuition, I pick up that they tell me that their dog is off or whatever, and I have them do that, and I say, I learned this from you. It's like, can you feel the difference on each side? And every time, they're like, wow, right there, just that spot, you can get so much information about the animal's body, right? Just from that spot.
Yeah. Does anyone have a difference on the left side and the right side with the animal they're working on? And while you're waiting, I'm going to go find a cat. So why don't you share with everyone what the speaker's there, what the signs of releasing are.
Well, I just want to say, Shannon just put my Chinese medicine physical therapist worked on that spot on me today. So much release. Melissa says that she yawned too. So the signs of release in an animal are yawning, licking, chewing, flatulence.
Party pants.
Burping, which is also the same thing, but from the other end. Stretching, shaking it off. Sometimes they go poop. They go outside and take a huge poop. They pee. They walk around. They sleep. I usually tell people you just kind of got to let it settle, and there's going to be some sort of it's a release, like they're letting go of something. Melissa Olbit says that her dog is tighter on the right. Oh, Shannon reminded me. Thank you, Shannon. Soft eyes, like we saw with Penelope, right? Her eyes got really soft, and they almost look sleepy.
And she started, she had her skin was twitching. I knew there was a word.
Melissa says that he's also weak in the sacrum, her dog. So he's tighter on the right, in the neck, right there, but he's also weak in the sacrum. Oh my God, look at Buster Keaton. And Buster Keaton, he's getting soft eyes right now. Yeah. With Buster Keaton, he's very acrobatic, right? So, he's your little Cirque du Soleil kitty.
He is. He is something else.
Yeah, he is. Oh my God.
So, he's pretty even, but it's good to do a lot of this stuff. And a lot of cats have very sensitive hind ends and nerve stuff as they age, and they have a tougher time getting into the litter box. And so even though we want to work on that hind end, just like with Melissa's dog, it's a dog that there's stuff going on in the sacrum. You can, working on the front end is going to send the message back. I mean, no matter what. So doing that, that work, because the big, the nerve center, everything's happening right there, at the back of the head. So you've got, and right there is also when you're doing cranial, just to the hand position, that's where you're working, where the fluid fills up and then releases, and fills up and releases. So that bladder 10 point is pretty profound. It's going to work on the whole system, really. There's another, like bladder 23, back in the, like just right behind the ribs. It's really good for nerve stuff, but it's also, what's interesting about it is, with cats, sometimes you're not going to be able to get to that hind end. So if you think, I'm going to get to that hind end by the, because like Queen Latifah has something going on, so I can't really work on her hind end for very long. I have to work on the front end, and with the intention of it's going all the way back. And then eventually, when I'm working on her a lot, I'm spending so much time on my other kitty and my horse that, I'm having to, note to self, work on everybody. And that's something we're going to really talk about in the Animals in Transition Fundamentals, because, when all your attention's going to one, that's when stuff falls apart if we're not careful with the other. I always, I had this experience with Olivia. Was my older dog. She was 14 and a half. And she had just turned 14 and, had been declining for some time. And then Raleigh up and colicked and died. And, all my focus was on this one dog. So that was a good lesson for me. I've got my eyes wide open, but I'm definitely pretty myopic over Francesca and Gabrielle. It's almost good to have two of them, because then I have to look at everybody, right? There's, if I'm that hyper-focused. So if you can't get to the hind end, you could even have a nippy dog, right? That's a great spot that's going to and always the intention is everything, right? The intention is getting back there. Again, we'll have Jill here next Tuesday, so be prepared. Be prepared. Yeah.
I want to say Elle O'Brien says that her 19-year-old kitty is ouchy in her hind end, and she's really slowing down, so this would be perfect.
Yeah.
If she's super sensitive. As you were talking, we're getting close because we have to teach. As you were talking, you reminded me of a story that you shared about a horse, that they called you, the horse was down, and you had them sending the information. Can you share that? Because I don't remember the full story. But
yeah, that, so when horses stay down for too long, usually their organs move. They're not going to, horses don't stay down for very long. And when they do, usually it's the end. So someone had called me from Seattle, and the same barn where I got Drakkar and Raleigh. And they said the horse was down. They thought, he'd had a seizure, which some vets say horses don't do that. Anyway, he was down, and there were a whole bunch of people there. And so I did Scalar, and I walked everybody through Scalar, and then he had very little energy in the hind end. And some people say, that's the beginning of them leaving their body. He had very little energy back there. And so what I did is I had like one or two girls down at the hind end over the sacrum, and two girls up at the head, holding the head. And I would say, okay, where is the energy? So when you think about the fluid in the spine, it goes up to the head, moves down the spine, goes to the sacrum. Anyway, it's a kind of pumping system, if you will. So we got that horse, they would tell me when it was filling up in the head, and they literally said, the other people there said they could see the hands moving. Like we got that pumping system to re-engage, and then the energy went back, and the girls at the head would say sending, and it would go all the way down, and then the girls at the hind end would go, got it, and the other people would witness their hands lifting, and then sending, and it would go back up to the spine, up to the top of the head. So you cannot believe what body work can do, what just with intention, and especially things like cranial sacral, and then EFT. We didn't even get to that. What time is it?
It's 10:45.
All right, yeah. I was going to say that on a horse especially, but Abby, come here. You're not dreaming. I invited you over. Oh, she's going to the other couch.
But the horse got up.
Yeah, the horse lived another 6 years.
Oh my God, 6 years?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very, very special horse. It was actually the horse of a gal that became a quadriplegic, and then, which I have those videos of us doing labyrinth work with her, and ended up with this other gal, Sheila, and yeah, it was amazing what we were able to do with that horse. We got the horse up a couple hours later, but we did a lot of that. We did tapping. We did scalar. I walked us through scalar every hour, and all the girls were there, all had their hands on, and yeah, it was an amazing experience.
I love that story.
Yeah. So, ooh, shit. Jesus, I've been swearing a lot. Okay, so that's where Abby went when I invited her over. Can you see her? Can you see her?
I love that face so much.
Okay, so this is going to be tricky. What is she? Is she on screen?
Yeah, she's on. Well, remember, I'm delayed over here what I see, but yeah, she's on screen.
Okay. So at this point, stomach 1, actually stomach 1 is right up in practically the eyeball. Technically, it might be stomach 2.
Lift the camera a little bit up so that we can see your finger in her face. There you go.
So I was just going to show you that 1 point is worth $1 million. And of course, you can barely see, but she's starting to almost dream. But that point right there.
And again, the pressure is very light. It looks heavy because of the way Joan's doing it, but you don't put a lot of pressure there.
No. So I wanted to show that point just because if you don't know tapping and you don't know anything, but you're like, oh my God, I think tapping would help. That 1 point, I mean, if you just do that on yourself right now, it's so calming. Whenever
I just had to release myself.
Yeah. Whenever I don't even have time to think of something to say with a horse, especially when they're herd bound and they're looking around like, where'd my friend go? Or who's that guy? So I will do just under the eye. And the other thing with horses is that point, actually, if you have a spooky horse, a lot of times their eyes, I call this a poor man's eyeball chiropractic move. You'll see horses start to really blink hard, and then it's like their eyeball goes back into place. But if they're really spooky, they're often like, their eyes almost pop out of their head, and there's a certain amount of strain with that. So this is a great point. If you did nothing else, to just, from the EFT tapping, to be working on it for calming. You're muted, my friend.
I know I had to mute myself to remind my people to be quiet.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I was like, what? Okay. She was like this. Anyway. So we were gonna. I went over, and we were gonna bring Shannon on. So I want to bring Shannon on for a moment. But does anyone have any questions, comments, observations?
Melissa Obit says, will that point help gut issues?
Mm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I almost just spit my coffee out. Yes. Because it's stomach, one, beginning, right? Just like this is actually bladder one. The whole bladder meridian goes all the way down to the outside toe. But that's stomach, and that definitely is, it will definitely help tummy stuff.
And Leah says, I love that point on myself.
So delicious.
And Melissa says, yawning again, underlying stress. Yeah, I did it on me, and I'm just...
Oh my God, stop. I'm going to start yawning. And this is a little too close, right? You're going to hear my stomach gurgling.
Yeah.
Okay, where is Shannon? So I wanted to just remind people again, All Things Energy webinar, and we can talk about a lot of this stuff on the Ask Joan on Thursday, 1 o'clock my time. How does Shannon come on?
Well, all I can say is this, while we wait for Shannon to come on, I'm going to jump in. And this Animals in Transition Fundamental that starts tomorrow is going to be amazing. And the fact that there's no prerequisites for it, and that you're going to get, you're going to get the basis of everything, I would jump on. Mm-hmm. You know, if you had offered this when I signed up, I'm teaching and I'm taking the class, but yes. So Animals in Transition Fundamentals starts tomorrow.
There she is.
1 a.m. Okay,
hello.
Here comes Shannon.
1 a.m.?
1 p.m., sorry. Oh my God.
Okay, yeah, we gotta change that time.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Well, it's good I can see there's a clock on the back of the wall there. We're almost, we got to go. And we've got the acupressure class next weekend, live in person. So much fun. And then we have 5 elements starting after that. That's my favorite class that we wrote. And then, of course, the intensive. You could do 3, 6, or 9 days. Animal communication, EFT, and my new book's coming out. And animal communication in sanctuaries.
And all the links are in. So if you have any questions about anything, reach out to Shannon, who's on screen right now.
Ta-da!
Yes, it can all be confusing, and if it's getting jumbled in your head, what's your next step? Just reach out to me. Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear Shannon?
Okay.
Okay.
Good. I thought you said something, Claudia, that you couldn't hear me. So yeah, my email is info@joanranquet.com. I put it in and I'll put it in again tomorrow. And yes, tomorrow's class, the Animals in Transition Fundamentals with no prerequisites, that's going to be amazing. I'm super excited for this class, is 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And it is on Zoom and it will be recorded. So if it's just like so much information and you want to go over it and over it again, you will be able to do that as well. So I hope you can join us, and if you need help, you just email me info@joanranquet.com, and I'm happy to help you.
And it's
with any.
Yeah, and that it's really going to be unique because we are going to literally travel from midwife to mediumship, and it's new EFT scripts are going to be released that we don't do in the other class.
So many tools for being able to walk your own animals through this or learn to help other people do this. Obviously, we have a certification program for this specific topic also, which I'm very excited about too. So yeah, just reach out.
That is Shannon's department, just like the outreach on the ambassadorship is Claudia's department.
and Smooch. Me
Yeah.
and Smooch are heading up, so.
Yeah.
He's the reason I got into this work. And yeah, I love doing this work with my clients. And I know some people probably get confused when we say it's fun, but when you get into this, you'll realize that being able to have the tools to help yourself, help your animal, help everyone else in your household to process your grief, to learn how to let the guilt go and remember their essence and their amazing qualities, it is really beautiful. So there is definitely a fun aspect to it too. So plus we always have fun together. It's a wonderful
We had
tribe.
we had a great time in the Animals in Transition virtual retreat.
Yeah, we did. It was amazing. Very special weekend.
Yeah.
And we do that in February. So if you missed it, don't worry. And also we do some of that in the October intensive. So it's never too early to start thinking about that as well, because we have waiting lists for things, so you can reach out to me and I can get you on it.
Yeah. So lots of things ahead. All Things Energy webinar. You're able to access the recording. Ask Joan on Thursday, All Things Energy. We have the Animals in Transition tomorrow, the acupressure, and the spring intensive, and then AC level 1 and end of April, and energy healing for animals, beginning of May, and my book comes out June 20th.
Yay! Yeah, and we'd love to have you on that Ask Joan All Things Energy on Thursday. It's a great time to get to know her. It's just a one-on-one kind of private Zoom. So please reach out to assist or info. We'll make sure that you get on the list. Okay, we'd love to have you. All Things Energy. Me, John, and Jean, and Dan, and all of us will be there.
Yeah, just ask Jan.
Ask Janin.
All right. Have
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.